Well, she stars in Showtime's new series on becoming a god in Central Florida as a widow, an alligator widow, who's determined to take over and confront this monstrous pyramid scheme. I'm Sam Eckmann of Gold Derby, and this is Kirsten Dunst. Thanks for talking with me, Kirsten. The tone of this series is so exciting because I don't think I've ever watched anything that feels like this one does. It's kind of indescribable in a way. It's absurd, it's eccentric, there's comedy, there's drama. So I'm wondering for you, like, how does that tone affect your work as an actor? Is it difficult to match it?
I think that's just life. So I think the absurd and the humor and the drama, it's just, those are usually my favorite kind of movies or television shows, because life isn't just, one thing. So I just like that this world felt very real and surreal at the same time. I like those kind of elements mixed together and the absurdity of life. And so that was what appealed to me about the original pilot. And I knew that playing this character, I'd have a lot of fun things for myself to, put out there into the world and express.
Mm-hmm. And you're also one of the executive producers of the show. And I know it took a lot, it was gestating for a while because it began at AMC and then moved to YouTube before landing at Showtime. Have you ever been in terms of a long project like that when it's taken a long time to get it on its feet?
Kind of, yes. I've had things that haven't come to fruition, and this one I just couldn't let go, I just, after a while, I'd gotten pregnant and I'd given birth. I almost fell out of it. And I remember the guys coming over, Robert and Matt, who are the creators of the show, and pitching the whole season to me. And I remember getting goosebumps, and I was like, there's something about this role I can't let go. Mm-hmm. And what's so great is that, like, all Krystal's frustrations and her anger, all these things, I really get to, like, throw them all into the mix. There's nothing repressed about her. So I can really feel everything that, I want to.
She has like this great infectious spirit that makes it really fun to watch her, because she doesn't care what other people think of her, really. And you've had experience in other roles where you've played someone very poised and put together. So what is the switch like for you to play someone who doesn't have that kind of vanity?
Doesn't have a filter? Well,
yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. I think that's a side of me. So, expressing myself through Krystal was very freeing, and I try and pick things that, like, speak to me at the time, and I think it's good to get out your rage, and Krystal definitely allowed me to do a lot of that. So at the end, it felt like, a cathartic experience, which I think that, like, as an actor, that's what I kind of search for now, in some way to purge something of myself and make it relatable to other people. Have those feelings be relatable.
Yeah. And, one of the, my favorite aspects of her is that people underestimate her constantly throughout the series, and they think she's dumb, they think she's, not to be taken seriously, but Krystal outsmarts them at every turn. So is that a big draw to you, similar to The Rage?
Yeah, I mean, they don't always take her seriously, though. It seems like she's always trying to, like, connive a new plan to get people to understand where she's coming from. And, it's an old-fashioned dynamic, too, between her and Obi. It reminds me of Dolly Parton and Wagner. What was his first name? Why can't I think right now? I think you know what I'm talking about. But it's that, like, dynamic where, she still has to play sweet and do all this stuff. It's very old-fashioned dynamic, but it's something that, she's just not taken seriously, partly because she's a woman and also because of her education. And honestly, she's just trying to survive for her child and make money, like, in any way she can to support her daughter and save her house.
Yeah. And the one of the pyramid scheme.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The pyramid scheme that she's kind of gets involved with is called FAM. And one of my favorite moments is when you take the stage and you think Krystal's going to just demolish the whole thing and expose everyone. But she has this moment where the light bulb goes off and she pivots and says, I'm going to take this over for myself. And that kind of gets her involved, for the rest of the series, heavily steeped in that. So what makes her in that moment make that split-second decision?
I think she realizes that everyone's with her and she has power. And I think that partly because of her beauty pageant days, and she has this stage presence and a command of, being relatable. And I think that she really comes into her own power with that and realizes, oh, I'm going to use this, for all that I got.
Yeah. And speaking of power, one of the fun things about the show is there's this really wild relationship that forms with your co-star Theodore Pellerin as Cody. And it has this, all of a sudden, this kind of like dominant, submissive act to it. Why do you think why does it reveal itself in that way?
I think that she just finds this weird thing with him that, within him, that she can kind of like use him in this way and plays with him in that way, because will do anything for her and she needs whoever will help her on her side.
Yeah. And and he's great to watch. The two of you are great to watch together and have this great chemistry. It's really nice when a show can throw something kind of out of left field at you and unexpected and still have it grounded in the characters. What is it? What is it like working with him? Because you guys bounce great off of each other.
Well, I remember I auditioned for a couple of people to play Cody, and Theo is just one of those actors that was just so game. Like he's just someone like that I'm attracted to in that way, acting wise. He's so present with you, and we will try anything together, and he's game for anything. And that's what makes acting and working with certain actors so exciting, is because, it makes it, we just want it to feel the most alive and real. And like, I remember there were times where I just hit him and he was totally fine. After the guy, are you okay with that? He's like, yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, hit me again if you want to. I was like, okay, Theo, you asked for it. But he's like me. We're game for anything.
Yeah. There's a really interesting thing I thought, where as time goes on and Krystal gets more invested in FAM and this pyramid scheme, like at one point she releases all this frustration at Ernie, and she kind of also has to like use people along the way. I mean, so you question that. Do you think she's sort of in danger of becoming like Obi, becoming like this villain she's fighting against?
I mean, of course, she becomes an antihero. Like, of course. I think that that's definitely the trajectory if we go on, after the second season. I think that definitely she will become what she hates. And I think it's going to be so fun to play. Like, I think she's going to become really power hungry and really insane. I do. Because she's going to be so angry at all the people that have held her back for so long. I think she's going to have a major power trip.
Yeah, it's an interesting commentary there, I thought, of how she kind of becomes what she's fighting against in a way, or at least could be. Yeah. You mentioned
that struggle always too.
Yes, you do in her, because she wants to do good.
Yeah.
You mentioned before about her beauty pageant background, and there is this incredible scene which I had to ask you about, because I'm a huge fan of Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is one of the funniest movies of all time as far as I'm concerned. But was there any, she's trying to coach this girl for a beauty pageant, she's dancing with these ridiculous puppets. Was any of that done as like an homage, or like specifically trying to reference?
No, it was actually very weird where it came from, because it was meant to be a snake dance, like kind of a sexy snake dance. And I told the guys like a good month, or whenever I first read the second episode, I was like, I am not dancing with the snake. So it has to be fake or whatever it is. And also I always felt like it was a little cliche. We've seen it before. And then Robert just sent me this YouTube clip of this guy dancing with puppets, and I was like, what is this? And he was like, what if Krystal did this? And I thought, this is so cool. And so weird, and I was totally game. I thought it was such a great idea. The weirder, the better, you know? It was so unexpected, and yeah.
Yeah, it fits the wild tone of the series, I think. And you know, that film, like Drop Dead Gorgeous, you have movies like that that have kind of become cult classics. They kind of get, and like Marie Antoinette was another one that sort of get this second life to them as people discover them. What is it like for you experiencing those films getting new life as it goes on and new viewers?
Yeah, it's weird, and it's like now that I have perspective and I'm older, I'm like, this is amazing. But when you're young and a film doesn't do well, like Marie Antoinette, you're like, oh well, this is sad. And here I am starring in this movie, and you know, it definitely got me down when I was younger. But now I kind of look back and I think, well, maybe, you know, we were ahead of the curve, and that's special that it's, you know, regained an audience and got the respect, you know, it deserves, and people appreciate it now. So I, you know, couldn't be happier about it.
Yeah.
I've always just followed my heart though, and what I wanted to do work wise. And even if it didn't work out, like I had a good experience. And so, yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
I was gonna say, sometimes it takes people to discover things, and the things that are easier are often forgotten.
Yeah. Do you think, because you have a very long film career, but you've done a little bit more TV now recently, is there a difference for you in terms of like what is more challenging? Like, is a show like On Becoming a God in Central Florida more challenging to you than a film schedule, or is it preferred?
I think it's way harder. The thing is like I work with someone, so every new episode, it's like it's not like you get a script, you work on it, you go make it. It's, you know, a new script every week, and the way I prepare, it just was more tiring and more work on my end. But like at the end of the day, more people see television these days than they do film, and yeah, it feels more rewarding at the end of the day in this new kind of streaming world that we have.
Yes.
I have my Elle is one of my friends, and you know, I was telling her about TV, and she's like, after the great, she's so happy because people are actually watching her work. It's hard when you're doing these indies and like not a lot of people, you know, are seeing them.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people see your work, and that's one reason why this year you, long overdue if you ask me, but you got to star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame now.
Yeah.
And it was really, I've seen a lot of videos of people at those ceremonies, and for some actors it kind of seems like another thing, but you really seemed like it meant something, and it was an emotional moment for you. What did that mean to you to get that star?
Well, first of all, Sophia and Jesse were my speakers, so it's like basically having your family members there. It just felt like a wedding or a funeral. It just felt like you wouldn't have these people speak on your behalf if it wasn't a very intimate situation. And so because I had like people that are my family speak for me, and my son was there, I don't know, it just felt like something like part of history that I'll always be a part of, which I don't know, I just felt like it's so nice to be recognized in that way. And yeah, that's yeah.
And you know, you got recognized early on in your career. I think you were age 12 when you scored your first major nomination at the Golden Globes with Interview with a Vampire. And then since then, you've gotten, you know, an Emmy and Golden Globe nomination for Fargo, and for On Becoming a God, you were nominated at the Globes this past year. So I'm curious, when looking back, like experiencing that kind of night as a kid to now, like how do those two experiences compare as you go on?
That's a funny question. Because I remember doing Jumanji. And we went to the Golden Globes, like Mom and I, and everyone's like, you're going to win. You can't tell a 13-year-old they're going to win when they're not winning. I just remember crying on the lap. We were sitting with the group of people from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. And I just remember like crying on one of their laps. My mom was like, hide her face. I was just like crying. I was like 13 years old. So, and then this year, then the next time Fargo, Lady Gaga won. And then the next time, I think I just get so nervous. It terrifies me to speak in public. So I almost was relieved this year that we could just go have a drink. I was like, okay, let's go. We can drink now.
Well, I hope you get the chance to speak in public at one of these shows soon, because it's wonderful work in this series on becoming a god in Central Florida. So we'll cross our fingers for you this season. And
thank you.
Everyone who's out there watching, please subscribe to Gold Derby. Make sure you keep up to date with us throughout Emmy season. And Kirsten, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you as well.